Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 71 of Infinity and Beyond, presented by DisKingdom.com, with me, Roger, here in the UK, and Abe there in sunny California.
How's it going, everybody?
All right, so this week has been the week of the light FX figures being released in the US. So we've got lots of news and a little bit of discussion about the light FX, and we're also going to be discussion about them and variants as a whole. We're also going to be going through a few little bits and pieces of news. Kicking off with just two very quick bits of news updates for everyone, including nominations are now going on for Toy Box of the Year. So you can go on to Disney's Infinity's official page and put in your official one. They're going to narrow it down to 20, and then they're going to start not doing. They did it last year, and it's a great sort of thing for sort of the toy box artists. Though it feels a lot harder to pick a toy box this year. Did you get to see that, Abe?
No, I have not. I haven't really played many toy boxes this year because of the whole internet issue. But I should definitely get on that.
yeah. I mean, I must admit, I think the toy boxes this year have completely changed. They've definitely got much more playset issue. Though I must admit, I was playing through the Disney Infinity Teams one. It was Kanan Rebel Jedi. And it was like, I think it took me about 25-30 minutes to play. I'm starting to go, these are getting a little bit long. They're taking me. I sat down for a quick blast, and I'm going, I just want to finish. It's something we just never saw with 2.0. Was we're really starting to see the length of these toy boxes for some of them getting pretty big and pretty long. And they're like I said, they're starting to become play sets. So there's lots and lots of nominations that people are going to be able to put in for Toy Box of the Year. And a lot of toy box artists are sort of campaigning for their boxes, etc.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, obviously the new tools and everything that they introduced in 3.0 have made toy boxes extremely, I guess, more standalone game-like you said, like play sets. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
It's definitely going to be. I think it's going to be some hard-fought competition, and I still feel like we're scratching the surface on what people are doing inside of the toy box for 3.0. Even though the game's been out for a few months, I still feel like there's been I think because of the spread out of releases, people are playing differently this year. So I think that we're going to see a lot more different and interesting toy boxes in 2016. So that's all nomination. You can do that on Disney.com/Infinity. Also a quick update. Disney are at the PlayStation Experience in I'll just get the information of where they are. It's
San Francisco.
In San Francisco, yeah. They have a booth at 1110. Sorry, 1110. They are there all day, Saturday and Sunday, and there's a life-size Yoda figure. They also got the Force Awakens playsets out on display, not to play, but just to play. They've also got the other playsets available to play. There's a Speedway tournament, and they're giving away some Saga bundles and the special fan meetup. So maybe nothing new really come out of that. I know JV was at the game video game awards this year, and he somehow happened to have a Luke Skywalker figure in his pocket just as he met Mark Hamill, and he had, I think, iJustine was able to get hold of a Kylo Ren, and generally there was a lot of buzz around JV's appearance on the show. You get to see any of it?
Not only that, also Oscar Isaac has the Poe Dameron figure, and so does Carrie Fisher has a Leia. Yeah. I mean, they've been having a lot of pictures with them holding their figures, so that's pretty cool. And also the life-size Yoda was actually at D23 as well, so it's not something we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
The only thing that we haven't seen, they're giving away these awesome pins and also these trading cards for the Force Awakens stuff. So.
Well, that's all of the different booths at the event all have these special edition cards. I know the Lego Avenger ones and a few other ones. They all have these special edition cards to kind of make sort of people go around and collect them and pick them up from different booths and stuff. So that's kind of looking pretty cool. So they'll be pretty collectible as well. But yes, it's great to see them at the booth. I think this is where these kind of set pieces that they build, because they're doing so many road shows and stuff now, they just build one and then use it for a year and can kind of really get their money's worth of it, which makes total sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, if it's a game that's gonna keep releasing figures,
Mm,
and content throughout the year, like they've decided to do this year, it just makes sense to
mm,
have something that's usable in a booth all the time.
mm.
So
Unfortunately, at the Video Game Awards, Infinity lost out to Mario Maker, which wasn't a huge surprise because that's kind of a pretty mainstream, heavy-duty game. But it was up
yeah,
there against all the other sort of Toys to Life stuff. So it's kind of interesting at this time of year, but loads and loads of bits and pieces coming from there. But the big news really of the week was the Light FX figures coming out in the US. Not all of them. There's been a little bit of a messy release, I think. But basically, they're all at different retailers. I'm just going to quickly go through so everyone knows what they are. So Anakin Skywalker is available at Best Buy now. Obi-Wan Kenobi is available at GameStop now. Yoda is available at Target now. Darth Vader is at Toys R Us from the 15th, but a lot of people are being able to pick him up right now in stores. Kanan is supposed to be on Amazon from Tuesday, and also Luke Skywalker is, and I've completely forgotten where he is.
Walmart.
Walmart. He again, he's up on the website for pre-list, but you can't pre-order him. But some people have been starting to pick him up in stores. So I don't know what the press release was like. They're all available now. Stores have got different dates. Some of them have brought them forward. Some of them have. It's been a little bit of a messy announcement date.
Yeah,
Were you able to-
it's been weird. I ended up picking up the first three, and I went to Toys R Us looking for Darth. I didn't see him, but yeah, I mean they're cool figures. Unfortunately, I have seen that some people are starting to scalp them as well on eBay and Amazon. So hopefully they're not taken up from the store shelves for that purpose. But
Mm.
I Best Buy did have a lot of Anakin Skywalker, so I think it should be okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because they said these are limited edition. It's the first time I think they've ever mentioned the word limited edition with a Disney Infinity figure, sort of that's at retail. We don't know what the limited edition size is, so I'm always wary with Disney on all different collectibles when it comes to when they say limited, because I've seen it so many times with other collectibles over the years where limited kind of means something quite a little bit different to Disney than it does to the rest of us. So there could be 20, 30, 40, 50,000 of these things. So they're not quite maybe as limited as we think, but they are limited compared to the other figures. So no, so I think this could be literally a one run and go. But if they're popular, they could make another run of them. There's no numbers. It's really hard to tell with this kind of product.
Yeah, I mean they're interesting. They are very cool. The way they light up is really nice. So I could see why they could be popular. Um, just know that they are a little bit slightly bigger, and they're slightly taller because of the added black base on the bottom. It's only to give it height though, because just the height, the capacitor, and the little circuit board. But anyways, I have some unboxings and some dissecting of a Yoda figure, so you guys can take a look at those later on. So,
but yeah, in some way, I'm almost viewing these are almost going to be, I'd have thought, end up replacing the main figures in most stores, because it's like, well, if you got the normal one or the Light FX one, you'd be like, well, I might as well just sell the Light FX one. So it's kind of interesting to see where they go with this one. I love the look of them from what I've seen on videos and stuff. They look quite cool with the lighting effect. Unfortunately, they're not out in Europe till the 18th of December, the same day as The Force Awakens. I will just briefly just say UK release is Argos for Luke Skywalker, Game for Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker's at Smith's, Tesco have Yoda, and Sainsbury's have Obi-Wan Kenobi. I did ask about Kanan, but they wouldn't confirm nor deny, and just said this is all they were announcing it now.
could be
So
Amazon UK.
yeah, it's just not up. There's a couple of issues I have with this. Include Sainsbury's having Obi-Wan Kenobi, okay, but they don't actually have an online website for doing games anymore. So you're only going to get that one in store. I know a lot of European collectors are actually buying them all from Amazon in France because they've got all 6 of them. and shipping them to the UK, and it's only like €4 or €5 for postage, and you can get them all in one go. And I would actually say, if you're after all 6, get Kanan and Obi-Wan Kenobi from Amazon in France at the very least, because that way you get them all, and you don't have to worry about them chasing around your local Sainsbury's trying to find the game. So that's a little bit of a bug for us, and it's a bit annoying. We have to buy them from another country, but it's a decent workaround. And luckily, shipping within Europe from Amazon is not too bad.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah,
now you see the pain it is out here as well. Because even though these stores are big and you can find a bunch of them in like big states, there's other states who don't have certain stores, and some people don't like to buy from Amazon, which makes no sense to me. So I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I do understand from Amazon though is some people are very picky with their paint jobs, and that's one thing you won't be able to see. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. The only bug with the separation of the thing for me is shipping. You're essentially having to pay for shipping 6 times if you're ordering online. So therefore, that's where the cost really starts to rise up. So I know that's where, and also at the minute, the price wise of the figures are all over the place. Anakin in some stores is more expensive than for gaming. It's charging more for Darth Vader. And I know you guys out there I know GameStop come in being really expensive, and that kind of quickly floods down. I don't know how long these will be in sale or anything like that. It's really hard to know with these figures.
Well, I mean, from what I've experienced so far, Yoda has been the hardest one to obtain. I went to what was it, 3 different Dagobah systems, aka Targets. So yeah, and I barely found the last 2. On the last one store that I went to, but the other 2 did not have them in the shelf. Everything was sold out. But Anakin, there was plenty of them, and Obi-Wan, there was a good number as well. They're starting to lock up their figures at GameStop, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely it's kind of been an interesting thing with these figures. I think some people are loving the chase of going out and finding them and being able to get them. A lot of people are liking the figures. These are quite different in the way they look. I don't know if you can explain that a little bit better.
Yeah, there's subtle differences. You'll see them in the videos that I'm going to be putting up shortly. They should be going up within either the end of this weekend or the beginning of next week. But they're very subtle. Like for example, the Light FX one has a little bit of height, and it has this black base added to it. But like I explained in the video, I think it's only to give it height because it needs to hide a little capacitor that's on the circuit board, and that capacitor allows for the charging from the Infinity base going up to the NFC chip. Then it goes to the capacitor that fuels the wire that goes straight to the LED light in the lightsaber, so it needs that extra height. And aside from that, some of the lightsaber angles are a little bit different. Clearly, the handles of the lightsabers are thicker. That's only to hide the LED light. And also, some of the figures themselves, they look a little cleaner. Some of the molds look a little bit like slightly bigger than the others. But again, that's only to help hide the wires and whatnot. The only one that had a really big difference was Yoda, and it was from his sand base. Because in the Light FX figure, it has like this big chunk cut out of it, like a big bite, and then on this one is completely round. So it's interesting. But you'll see in the video.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that they're that much of a variation. It's I think a lot of us were like, well, they're just going to be the same figure with the light. But actually, they've had to make quite a lot of differences to that figure design to get it to do it, which is kind of interesting. I'm still not. I'm probably gonna pick up Darth Vader and Yoda, definitely Yoda, because that's where I go food shopping anyway. And I don't think I'll be able to resist when I see it on the shelf. But yeah, I'm still not convinced on them. I want to see them in person, see what they look like.
I was gonna say that's exactly how I was until I finally put the first one down, and once I saw how well they light up, I was completely convinced, because they light up just like as bright and nicely as my real Darth Vader FX lightsaber. It's a nice shine. So The way they designed the LED light to shine through that plastic clearly is just beautiful. So I think you might be a sucker and pick them all up.
I've got this kind of feeling that it's going to be, because it's in some ways I think if they were spread out like you guys were having, I think I'd be more inclined to do it, because they're all like out like different weeks. And then like if I was just going to pick up like Luke Skywalker next week, but because they're all out on the same day as Force Awakens, that's a big sort of chunk at once, a week before Christmas, when I've got other things to be spending money on. So it's like it's in some ways they're doing it the week before Christmas with a new play set and with all the rest of it. There's quite a lot to come out literally a few days before Christmas for me. And I think but I'm sure after Christmas, everyone, a lot of kids are going to have pocket money and Christmas money. It's going to make buying them a little bit more interesting. But I'm definitely going to pick some of them up. But I have to see them in person to see before I make the full decision on all 6. Yeah, but I'm also maybe even feeling the idea of maybe picking them up bit by bit. But it depends. There's been so many things have come in from Disney going, if you like them, get them now. I'm like, well, that's good. If they're all going to sell out in the first week, great, perfect. But if they're going to be on the shelf in 6 months' time, discounted, you're playing Russian roulette, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I don't know. I didn't feel bad. I mean, after I put them down and I saw what they looked like, I didn't feel bad dishing out the dough. So, no, it just depends. I mean, obviously, I love Infinity. That's something that if there's a variant, I'm gonna want it. So I do have that little collector aspect in me. But was I let down on them? Not really. I mean, they're not like the crystal figures from 1.0. I mean, I like the crystal figures in 1.0, but they're just not like amazing, like wow factor to me. The I keep saying the LFX, for short. But the Light FX figures, I think it's a nice little drastic upgrade in my opinion. I do enjoy them. Part of me is hoping that eventually they decide to add a few more to the roster, like definitely at least Kylo Ren, because the way these things glow, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember being out in Florida when Sully was released as a crystal figure, and I went to 2 different Toys R Us to find it in Orlando. Now I'm in a foreign country driving around trying to find these Toys R Us's to walk in and find they didn't have them. And then when I did get home and then ended up buying it online, and then being extremely disappointed with how it looked, I was going, why did I waste all that time on holiday trying to find this? So
yeah.
But I always loved the Crystal Lightning. I always thought that was such a cool variant.
It was the first one, and it was very awesome too.
Yeah, I remember that coming out literally at launch. And I think this is the thing with variants is put up a question on our Facebook group yesterday, just to kind of get some feedback from everyone. And I had some really good responses about variants as a whole. And I think variants are one of these things with collectibles. We get a lot of them. I'm used to them a lot more, obviously, with like Vinylmation and Pop Vinyls and all Daubs and all this kind of stuff. And like with Pop Vinyls, you'll have one pop, and then you'll have a variant version where they don't have the mask on, where they're black and white, where they're gold, where they're, variants are part of collectibles as a way of spreading out one content and making people buy lots of them. Sometimes variants are so very different that they're great. Sometimes they're so sort of minute you can barely see the difference, and it feels a little bit of a cash grab. Now with Infinity, it feels at the minute we've had 4 different types of variations of figures. So we had the crystal figures in 1.0, we had the black suit Spider-Man, we had the Light FX figures, and I'm also going to throw Hulkbuster and the first Avenger, Captain America, in as variants as well, because we've had 4 different...
It's definitely a different category for sure.
I definitely felt like they're part of the same thing with the variation, but they are different in some ways. But we've had 4 different kinds, and it's really hard to say which ones. I definitely feel like the crystals are best gone. I do feel like that's a good idea. You?
Yeah, I mean, do I want them do I want them to make any more? Absolutely not. No, don't make any more. but as far as like from what we have, I'm okay with what we have already. Like we don't
Yeah.
need any more crystals.
No. But I think overall the design of the crystal figures, I don't know what it was. They just didn't quite. In theory, they work, but they didn't. I don't think they were executed. Some of them were unnecessary, like an Agent P crystal. I don't know if I ever used that figure. It was
Yeah,
just a bit like.
I think it was a nice little touch. But like you, I said the selection of figures to use as crystals was kind of weird. I think I would have done like 3 and that's it. But I mean, they gave us what 7.
I think
So
yeah, I think the trouble was they had to do like one of each, like one from each playset. It's like the crystal
Crystal
Lone
Perry
Ranger.
Crystal Perry wasn't from a playset though, so
No, it was an odd.
neither was Mickey.
No, it was just an odd choice. And Lone Ranger, I mean, in hindsight, I'm sure they would have loved to have not got bothered with that one. I could understand some of them, but I think they were always a bit of an odd one, and I'm glad that they seem to have moved on from there. It's like the Black Suit Spider-Man. I think was an awesome variant. I think that was a great variant in terms of looking different. However, I would have loved a repose. I'd have preferred a completely different, have him standing up, being in a different position would have been perfect.
Here's my thing with here's my thing with Black Suit Spider-Man. Basically, you're tapping on it completely. It was just a repaint. I know they slightly did a few slight differences in gameplay in 3.0 just because legality or whatever, but it was just a repaint. It's not a huge drastic change enough for me to go like this is an awesome variant. It's definitely a cool variant, and the only reason why I got it was because of the drastic discount on it. But other than that, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool variant. I agree. It's better than a crystal, that's for sure. Like a crystal Spider-Man, definitely.
I think with the Black Suit one was I've always loved that Black Suit's character, the way how he's looked in everything. So I love the look of it, and I think I actually play with him more than I do with the red version because I love the look of it. And I know you have the power disc and stuff, but it's like in hindsight, if they had done that as a different mold, a different fit pose, I'd have loved it. I'd have just jumped straight on that, anyway. But I still view it as it's my most used variant figure I have. When I look at all the variants, I know I play with that one because I like it and I like using it. And that's kind of the point to me of the variant is I want to use it and I enjoy using it. And so it's been the best variant so far to me in terms of for me personally.
See, for me, I think my favorite variants have been, the Hulkbuster and the First Avenger, Captain America. And the only reason why it's A, the reposes, and B, they play completely different from their first version. That's why those are my favorite variants. The Light Effects figures are also very awesome variants. But the only reason why I classify the Hulkbuster and the First Avenger way higher than the LFX figures is because they look way different than the original figure, and they play way different. So, that would be my favorite as far as variants.
I definitely agree 100%. The Hulkbuster and the First Avenger, they are different poses. They look different. They've got different gameplay. That to me is what I want to see from variants going forward from Disney. If you're going to do it decent enough that it changes it. It does feel a little bit like with 3.0 that suddenly we're into kind of, it's like there's so many other characters that could be done first. And literally you're looking at going, First Avenger, Hulkbuster, Black Suit Spider-Man are 4 officially announced Marvel characters. 3 of them are variants.
Wait, what were those for?
So you've had Ultron, Hulkbuster, First Avenger, and Black Suit Spider-Man.
I'm still not counting Black Suit Spider-Man. I think that's a big mess. It doesn't look like a 3.0 to me.
But you see what I mean.
But because it's a mess, I'll bunch it in just because of what you're saying. And so I mean the only original one is Ultron. But then again, I don't know. I mean, I do see how the First Avenger makes sense because Civil War is going to be an awesome epic movie. I do see how Hulkbuster makes sense because he is awesome, or she, however you want to call it, because of the universe, the cinematic universe. um, so it's awesome. As far as Black Suit Spider-Man, I'm 50-50 on it. I wish it was a repose. I wish it played slightly different. But it's so cool to have. It's definitely, like you said, a cool thing to look at physically, because I could have done it in game already with a Paradisc. But yeah, I don't know. I see where you're going with this though, because definitely so far the Marvel side has definitely been just one of three or one of four that is different. So.
I think as well as I think it's like, there's so many other characters I'd rather see than just keep having I mean, Hulkbuster has always been viewed almost like a separate character in some ways by Disney. But when you think you've got Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, you've got Wolverine, Deadpool, all the X-Men, you've got Doctor Strange, you've got all these other characters, and we're just getting reposes and stuff. That's when you start going, no, I'd rather have a new figure than a variant. Which so I'm going to just go through some of the comments that we had on the Facebook group. There's quite a few. So first off, Matthew put, if it's a variant like Hulkbuster, then it's enough of a new character, but Captain America is just a reskin and a remodel of the same person. If they make the movie versions of Iron Man 4, then it would be better that as they can be displayed together. He's also not happy with the idea that you're essentially being forced into buying him if he comes with Battlegrounds.
Okay, well, I'm going to hit on two different things on that. One, I slightly disagree because, again, I don't think it's a reskin. I mean, you got to understand that with every movie, I mean, it's different Captain America. Like, with video game characters, they work differently than real life people. Like, the more battles you go through, the more training you go through, you learn new attacks, you learn new moves. So it makes sense in the movies. In games, you need to have a new game to actually give you new attacks and new moves. You can't just really, expect it. So obviously it makes sense for me. And not to mention First Avenger, again, Civil War is coming out. And I don't know, one of my favorite characters from Marvel on 2.0 was Captain America, but I'm not going to lie, 3.0, one of my favorite characters right now is Captain America. The pose is amazing. But anyways, and as far as being forced into it, I still don't buy it. I think it was misquoted or they said it incorrectly. I don't think they're going to put it in the starter pack. I still don't think so. I mean, I'm not going to agree with the statement until I see the picture of the starter pack. If he's in there, then I say, okay, I was wrong. But still, I just don't see that happening. It just makes no sense to me.
I must admit, I do agree with the comment of being forced into buying it.
If they put them in there, I agree. If they put them in there, I agree.
I don't think it's a great idea because I think if you're on a limited budget, you want another character. You don't want the same one. I understand the point that they're going to want it to look a bit like Civil War, so it makes sense in that point. But no, I do agree with. I don't think it's a great idea.
Wait, hold on. I mean, let's finish talking about this one. It's definitely forced if you're an Infinity fan and you've been playing since 2.0. But let's not forget that Black Friday, Disney Infinity starter packs outsold a lot of the competition. I believe Lego Dimensions, it outsold it almost 3-1. And Skylanders, it outsold it more than 4-1. And that you got to understand that's new people playing Disney Infinity. So when they see that Captain America, that's not going to be forced for them. That's going to be awesome. But anyways, that's my points. Matthew, thanks for the input.
Yeah, okay, so we've got Aiden put, variants are a love-hate relationship with me. I don't like variants that are just repainted versions such as Crystals or Black Suit Spider-Man. To me, it feels gimmicky to get more money because of it. It's a quicker to repaint an existing toy than make a new one. If the variant is a repose of a new move set to make them feel different, then I quite like them. Hulkbuster, for example, is an entirely different Iron Man suit with a new move set, which I'm fine with. Ideally, I think they should just stick to costume change Paradisc unless a character can warrant a new moveset, classic Maleficent, for example.
I can agree with that, although there are going to be some times where you're just going to want that variant. You know what I mean? Like for
Yeah.
example, Hulkbuster to me is definitely a variant I've wanted since 2.0 came out. So that's awesome.
Mm.
But I do see costume change discs as a better option.
It's better in a lot of ways. Okay, so Chet put I quite like the variants as long as Avalanche let us know ahead of time. Crystal figures from 1.0 were very cool and they looked and performed slightly different to their counterparts in the actual game. The light effects characters for 3.0 don't do anything different in the game, so as long as I can choose to purchase for either version, I'm fine with that. I don't like that I have to buy both versions of Luke and Anakin if I want the light effects versions. Black Suit Spider-Man was a pain because he's exclusive to Vita and exclusive to GameStop. Then it's shown much later, after many of us went through the trouble of getting him, that it would become available as a standalone figure for 3.0. And when I first heard about Captain America First Avenger, I was very upset, but it was okay when I learned that he would have different moves and play like a different character. Still a little bummed when there are so many other characters that need to be made, like Genie, Jafar, Ariel, Prince Eric, Sebastian's, Ursula, Beast, Bastion, Gaston, Nemo characters, Wally, and Eve, etc.
Etc.
Yeah.
He's like named almost all of them that we want. No, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, exclusivity sometimes sucks, but the only thing that does irk me too is the fact that there's no option of either you want light effects Yoda or regular Yoda, as opposed to Anakin. You have to have both if you want to play the game. So, or if you want the light up one.
Yeah. I think it's that same thing as well. I think it's the same thing that keeps coming through. Is people don't. I think the communication with Black Suit Spider-Man has been pretty bad since the Vita pack was announced. It's been all over the place, and it makes people wary. Dan wrote, I'd be one for the variants as long as they look cool and unique. I wouldn't mind reposing and costuming the 1.0 costume disc. That would be a good excuse to give them at least some powerful skill trees. I also think some park style characters of Mickey, Donald, Minnie, and eventually Goofy and Daisy would be pretty cool. A good idea would be to be interlocking bases. 1 or 2 variants a release would be fun. I personally love the new Captain America.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I think leading on from that 1.0 one, I still, and I, it's been brought up a bit on the Toy Box TV Live. This thing about the 1.0 characters not being given new move sets that from 2.0 and 3.0, and I'm still kind of got this feeling of I think they're holding back because I think they can do a repose and a new figure and make more money from it. Then it doesn't feel it's. I think that's when people start complaining, when they feel like they've brought a figure that's fully backwards. They want new characters, they want new stuff. They don't want to have to rebuy. I mean, we're having the whole same argument going on at the minute with PlayStation 2 games on backwards compatible kind of thing. People don't like the idea of buying the same thing they've already brought already. They want something new. They want to be able to use it, and it's not going away.
Well, I'm going to say that this much: if Disney Infinity is a platform like they want it to be, it kind of makes sense. I mean, look, you have Toy Story 4 coming out. You have Frozen 2 coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if we get reposes. I mean, even of Olaf, who we just got recently. So I don't know. It's if they're going to be giving us new figures based on new content that's coming out in theaters, on television, or wherever, then I get it. But I do see that side that, hey, I do wish my 1.0 figures were at least brought up to par in the current existing game. Once the variant shows up, then fine, you can abandon updating my older figures if you want to. But how hard is it to say, let the 1.0 figure play like the new game, But, so I don't know. It's interesting.
My bug with the 1.0 characters from that is one thing. Me brought them 3 years ago and they haven't upgraded. Okay. But what I don't like is if someone has walked into the store today, picked up Star Wars starter pack, picked off Wreck-It Ralph, and picked up Hulkbuster, gone home and thinking, what is wrong with Wreck-It Ralph? Why isn't he working properly? Why is he so rubbish compared to the other ones? I just brought him at full price. He's on the shelf. He should be the same. It's one thing if they've gone and they've no longer for retail, they've gone. It's, you know, they're existing. But when they're still churning them out and still putting them on the shelf, still selling them alongside to work with 3.0, that's when I think it's a bit cheap. I think it's a bit more than cheeky. I think it's a little bit miss kind of, I don't know. It doesn't, if the fact that they're still selling those characters for 3.0 on the shelf, it's not like they've been retired and they've gone away and you can't get them anymore. They are still on the shelf for people to buy, and they still keep making them. That feels a bit, if you don't know what you're doing with the game and you buy Rapunzel, you're going to feel very like, well, why is she so rubbish compared to Anakin?
I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't been to a store lately that's been selling the 1.0 or even the 2.0 figures at full retail anymore. I don't even find them in Target anymore. I see only 3.0 stuff and very little 2.0. At Toys R Us, I see them, but they're always discounted. Like they're like at $7 as opposed to the full retail.
But Anna and Elsa, I've seen, they are always out with the figures. That one seems, you know, you know, if you've got Anna and then you buy Olaf, it does feel a little bit like there's a big difference.
And obviously, I don't know. This is probably from personal experience, but Anna is not Anna. Elsa is a pretty powerful figure to this day. Disney Nerd Dad can contest to this because he continues to beat me up somehow in game with Elsa. Like, she's pretty powerful still for some reason. But anyways, that's just personal.
Yeah.
So personal story.
Right. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one. Lou wrote. Just lost it. I have a feeling they will be introducing updated move sets to characters, like when Buzz gets flying and the laser. That will probably come with a new figure. Disney probably are going to be bugged the most by this thing because Marvel and Star Wars, they may have to rely on variants more when they get through all their major characters. We've seen it with Iron Man and Captain America already. It wouldn't surprise me if we get to see Luke from Jedi with a green lightsaber and a stronger lightsaber combat. And I agree with that one. It makes sense. Like you said, there's a lot more with Star Wars. There's not as many characters as you've got with Disney. And if they're going to go, we said this the other way. I think we are going to see another Finn and Rey character a few years down the line with lightsabers.
Well, I can see that. Well, I'm also thinking about what's going to happen if they ever decide to do a Rebels playset. Are they going to give us brand new Rebel variants? I mean, it just makes no sense to me. So
no.
Yeah, but, and then we still have all those favorite figures that we are wanting from Star Wars Universe. Star Wars Universe has a lot of characters. It's just depending on which ones they want to use and which ones they want to make. But I do see them probably doing a variant before they do a newer character.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look here. We have Jay wrote repaints are a heck no for me. No other reason than a cash grabs. I'm looking at you, Crystals. Even my 4-year-old hates them. He won't even let them display with the others. Having said that, I'm good with variants as long as they're significant difference from the figures, such as Captain America variant is awesome. It's a distinct version of Captain that will display well and is highly retellable from the movies. The added bonus of different moveset is even better and shows they're more than just a cash grab involved. I could list dozens of characters I'd like say Anakin in his dark robes, Hoth Han, Endor Lair, Luke and Bispin, Luke, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Open Helmet, Three Musketeers. I also appreciate the light effects are being added in line, but absolutely no need for them in the game. Just a flashy version of the original. I love the Light Core Skylanders and was dying to see them brought to Infinity. Wish granted. So yeah, again, yeah. And then Austin added, I like variants if it makes sense. What I mean by that is I like to see if a sequel comes out and the characters change a lot and has different abilities. I don't really want them to redo the 1.0s. I want them to greatly upgrade the skill tree to make them on par with the newer characters. But a variant would be a sign saying that the 1.0 characters are useless now. For example, if they made new Toy Story figures when the new moveset, who would then play with the 1.0 ones? I know I wouldn't. But like with Captain America, the skill tree is already great and it's still there. I still play with the old one when I get the new one. If they want to give older figures new moves, then they should really just reproduce the original figure and sell that to people who don't have it already. This would make people happy that have already had the figure, and the people who want the figure but couldn't buy it because it's not sold anymore. Yeah, I think that just does seem to be a general consensus especially amongst like the group, that there does seem to be a general thing of they like them if they're very, very different, and that's it. Basically, that seems to be the kind of the general thing. If they're going to do a variant, they have to be very, very different, play different. But there's a lot of people thinking the very same thing with variants being too similar, and 1.0 they don't like it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely what I was saying. It needs to be a drastic change. That's why, you know, Hulkbuster and First Avenger are definitely my favorite variants, because they do look different, they play different. It just makes sense. So,
but they're definitely, it's definitely interesting. I think, and just sort of getting a feedback from about 10 different people there. The general, it seems to be the same thing. A lot of people view variants as cash grabs, and they're not overly. They're not. I don't think there's an overly fond experience so far with variants, with how they've worked and how they've done them.
Yeah, I mean, Disney is definitely saying that Hulkbuster and the First Avenger are not variants; they are new figures, they're new characters. Which I kind of see them saying that, but I mean, to us, you know, we want new figures, we want new material, we want new guys to play with. So it kind of makes sense.
I always find that thing of like, it's like, well, they're not variants. Well, yes, they are. They are variant figures of the same character in a different pose with a new moveset. Any way you look at it, it's the same character. There's no way you can, you know, saying it's not a variant. Yeah, it's not a variant maybe to them because it's not an identical character repainted. But to the rest of us, it's a variation of the same character. Right. So therefore, it's, you know, it's PR speak for they're trying to get around the fact that we're all there going as a variant. And it's like, well, no, it's not. You know, when everyone is kind of classifying them as the same version, it's not like, you know, in some ways, you know, if they didn't say they hadn't done Falcon and they brought out a Captain America Falcon version, then I would say that is a different character and a different person, and that's an entirely different thing. But if they come out with that, that is just a variant version of Falcon. That is, you know, obviously if you get a move set with the, but it's still a variant, isn't it? You know, there's still that kind of thing. I think that's the one thing that keeps coming around is.
Well, here's the question: what if they decide to give us the brand new Captain America, which is Captain Falcon as Captain America in the future? Is that a variant of Falcon, or is that a variant of Captain America, or is that really a new figure? Because it's technically the same character. It's just in a different. It's a different telling of a story. So.
It's a variant of Falcon to me. That would be my term, because.
But it's not. It's Captain America. He's never been Falcon.
No, yeah, but Falcon has been Captain America, but like
not in this story.
No. Yeah, not in the movie.
In this story, the New Avengers, he's Captain America.
Yeah,
that's what I'm telling you. So it just makes no sense.
No, in the comic books, it's different, but it's, I don't know. It's like Thor. You know, if they bring out a female version of Thor, that is a different character to me. That's not
just a different sex.
Yeah, but it's Jane Foster rather than
it's Thor.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Thor.
It's
I don't know.
It's that fact of if it's a different character or a different person underneath, you can, you know, if they came out with a female Thor or even Miles Morales Spider-Man, there is still that thing of they look different, they look completely different, they're a different character, they're a different person underneath. I would accept that. You know, if they want to do a Miles Morales Spider-Man, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool, that's great. Give him a different moveset. He's a different character. Yeah, but he's an alternate version in a parallel universe.
It will not work in Disney Infinity because we don't know who's under that mask in our Infinity figure. For all we know, that could be Miles Morales in an old suit. We don't know. The character is Spider-Man. It doesn't say his real name. It just says Spider-Man. So who knows? Oh, yeah. He could be in there. Yeah. It could be Samuel L. Jackson in there. Well, you know, we don't know.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. I think variants are such a kind of odd thing, and I think everyone's kind of got this kind of. I think some people are like, I like it, but I think there always seems to be this thing. Everyone's a bit like, they don't want to like it too much in case it goes mental, and that's all we get. 4.0 is just variants of everything we've already got.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I mean, now you got me thinking about comic books and possible variants. I mean, like, what if we had like a Hasselhoff Nick Fury, or yeah, I mean, there could be so many possibilities. It's crazy.
Yeah, there. I mean, I think with the Marvel side, I think that's where the costume changes and stuff. The Marvel side with
Agreed.
variants is a lot easier than with like the Disney side. You know, it's like Buzz Lightyear. There's not really a lot more they can do with it. Bar putting him in a dress or something, or you know, Woody.
Mrs. Nesbitt. Yeah, Mrs. Nesbitt.
With Woody, there's not really a huge amount of difference they could do. You know, with Filmation figures, they do a new version, or they made in black and white. There's not, but with Marvel, it makes it's a lot easier because there's a lot of different costumes. There's a lot of changes over the 50 years. Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, they've had lots of different costumes, but I still think Marvel is the one area that reposes and variants are probably a lot more likely continuously. You know, Spider-Man's had dozens of suits. You know, it's a lot easier with the Marvel side. Star Wars actually, yeah. Oh, carry on.
I was just say it makes sense because in Star Wars, the only way you can do variants is if you age them, kind of like Han Solo and you know, or even Obi-Wan Kenobi can be aged, but that's the only way you can get real, you know, variants in that end. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but we'd love to know your thoughts on this. Comment below, get in touch with us, and let us know your thoughts on variants. So that pretty much is going to wrap up this week's show. Love to know everyone's thoughts on them. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook. Big shout out to Ethan over at sortapps.com and Magic Band Collectors for being sponsor again this month. Big thank you for all the support, and also to our other patrons as well. And just before we go, make sure you sign up with our Infinity and Beyond Facebook group. And we're literally now in just like sort of wait mode for The Force Awakens. That's pretty much what we're waiting for. So next week's probably, I'm expecting a quiet week next week. And then it's all the week after is where it's all going to get a little bit more fun.
I'm hoping, and well, no, it's not going to happen because JV already said it. It's like I was hoping that they would at least give us like an Ant-Man announcement or a little kind of like CNET leak of Vision, because we have Ant-Man coming out on Blu-ray next week. So, but yeah, that's not going to happen. And I was going to say, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, everything, all those holidays. But to me, I'm not celebrating any of those this year. I'm celebrating Star Wars this month. I'm counting down to Happy Force Awakens, everybody. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's my holiday.
Happy Force Awakens. I'm going to be honest. I'd rather take Force Awakens Day off than have Christmas Day off this year. It's like, new play set, new DLC for Battlefront. We're set. We don't need anything else.
Yeah. Happy Force Awakens.
Yeah, Happy Force Awakens, everyone. We hope to see you guys next week. Later.
Bye-bye.